Hola chicos, today we're going to tackle the pretérito, which is one I dread a little bit because there are almost as many exceptions in the pretérito, the past tense in Spanish, as there are in the present tense. So let's get down to this. So we're going to determine first if it's an AR verb, an IR verb, or an ER verb. For AR verbs, let's go with hablar. First of all, we have yo hablé. Writing a sloppy there. With an accent, tú hablaste. Habló. Hablamos. Hablaron. IR verb. Let's go with escribir. Escribí. Escribiste. Escribió. Escribimos. Escribieron. Ir. First we'll go with, let's go with comer. Yo comí. Comiste. Comió. Accent on the o. Comimos. Comieron. You'll notice first that the IR and the ER verbs are all the same. They're conjugated the exact same way. Perfect, we got done that. Now, like I said, there are a lot of exceptions. So there are a few verbs that are high exceptions, that are just exceptions across the board that don't really fit into a pattern. And those verbs are ir, ser. Ir and ser are actually conjugated the exact same way. We have yo fui, tú fuiste, él fue, nosotros fuimos. Ellos, ellas, ustedes fueron. No other way to know that but to memorize it. Then there's hacer. There's hice. Lo siento, I messed that up a little bit. Hice. Hiciste. Hizo. Hicimos. Hicieron. Then there's ver. Vi, yo vi. Viste. Vi, o, vio. Vimos. Vieron. Right? Ver is almost a regular verb, except it has no accents at all. Ir and ser, just weird. You have to memorize it. Hacer kind of follows a pattern, except for the el, ella, usted form, which is hizo. So you have to memorize that. More exceptions. I got way more exceptions for you guys. So then there's the orthographic changes that happen with verbs that end in car, gar, zar. I'll give you an example. Car would be like buscar. Gar would be jugar. Zar, comenzar. So let's go to the yo form, right? So if we conjugate this regularly, it would be bu, se, right? Because C before an E in Spanish is a soft sound, bu, se. But we know the infinitive is busque. So we're trying to maintain the same sound. So we're actually going to change just the yo form to busque with a Q. And this is going to apply anywhere you conjugate a CAR verb where the pronunciation of that C is going to change. You're going to change the C to a Q. This is going to come up when you do subjunctive or the commands. Jugar. If you conjugate it regularly, it would be juge, right? A soft G sound. We know it's not. We know it's a hard G sound, so we're going to add a U in there. Jugue. Comenzar. Comenze, right? A little bit harder if you're a non-native speaker to get the difference there. This is actually going to change to a C. Comence, right? Let me actually change colors here. Oh, well, that's interesting. There we go. So those are three spelling changes. However, like buscar, in all the other forms, it doesn't change because we have a CA. So busé, no, we have to change it. Buscaste, there's the hard C sound. Buscó, buscamos, buscaron. all have that hard sound except for the yo form, right? That's why we have to do the changes. So there's one spelling change. So we have a few others. Verbs that end in U, I, that's really distracting. I'm going to change the color of that to just blue. Verbs that end in U, I, R. Pay attention, right? Like construir. If you're conjugating it in the el form, it would be construio. Construio. Remember what we said earlier, though, about 3 vowels in a row where the middle is Y? That's right. We're going to change that I to a Y so we get a more fluid sound. Construio. Right? So this is one of the ones, and I'm not going to list all the verbs that you do this with, but whenever you have 3 vowels in a row and the middle is an I, you're probably going to change that I to a Y, just so you know. Okay, there's that. Then there are a whole bunch of verbs that don't really fit into a pattern, and we're going to say like andar is one of them, whose stem changes to anduv. Estar changes to estuv. Trying to think of other ones here. Estar changes to estuv, decir changes to di, etc. And if you look these up, they all actually have the same endings. Anduviste, anduvo, anduvimos, anduvieron. So it doesn't matter with these verbs, it doesn't matter if they're AR, IR, or ER verbs, they all have the exact same endings because they have such a radical change in their roots. And none of these endings have accents. That may be one way you can remember them, right? Okay. Another exception would be if you have verbs that are CIR or CER. In the él, ella, usted form, we have instead of, sorry about that, producir, in that third person form becomes produjo. Producaste? Yeah, produjiste. Yeah, CER, CIR, normally it drops. In all the forms, actually, it drops to a J. Sorry, it took me a second to figure that out. So these are all your basic forms of the Pretérito. Memorize them, know them, love them. And that's it for today. Nos vemos.